Retirement is supposed to be the reward after decades of hard work. But in some parts of America, that dream is turning into a nightmare. What if we told you that in 2025, tens of thousands of retirees are being quietly taxed into poverty, right now, in their so-called golden years? From punishing income taxes to skyrocketing property rates, certain states are effectively draining seniors of the very money they spent a lifetime saving. And it's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about people being forced to choose between paying their tax bill and buying groceries. Today, we're counting down the 10 U.S. states where retirees are being taxed into poverty by 2030. Each entry pulls from the latest government reports, financial data, and economic trends from 20,232,025. If you think your retirement is safe, think again, because some of these states might just be on your list. Number 10. Wisconsin. Wisconsin may offer postcard-perfect landscapes and Midwestern charm, but for retirees, the financial picture is far less idyllic. Despite modest relief programs, Wisconsin taxes nearly all retirement account distributions, IRAs, 401k, pensions, at effective rates averaging 5 to 6%. This is before factoring in additional local income taxes, which push the burden even higher for many residents on fixed incomes. In cities like Milwaukee and Madison, retirees also face steep rises in municipal fees and utility costs. In fact, property taxes in some counties have surged by as much as 18% since 2015, eating away at disposable income and creating financial strain for seniors already stretched thin. Lower-income retirees are hit the hardest. Many report spending over 40% of their income just on housing and tax-related costs. That leaves little left over for essentials like medications, food, or transportation. The state's limited exemptions for retirement income aren't nearly enough to offset the mounting fiscal pressures. So the question is, why are seniors in one of America's friendliest states being squeezed so relentlessly? Number 9. Maryland. Maryland is known for its waterfronts and proximity to Washington, D.C., but it's also notorious for squeezing retirees dry. The state imposes steep income taxes on almost all forms of retirement income, excluding only Social Security. County-level surcharges can push effective tax rates to a punishing 7 to 8% in areas like Montgomery and Prince George's County. And it doesn't end there. Property taxes and home values have risen steadily, with many retirees finding themselves priced out of neighborhoods they've lived in for decades. A modest $400,000 home in suburban Maryland can generate property tax bills of over $6,000 annually. Add rising healthcare premiums and inflationary pressure on basic goods, and it's no wonder that many seniors are calling Maryland financially unsustainable. Some retirees report that, after all expenses and taxes, they're left with less than $800 per month in discretionary funds. Is Maryland becoming the state where you work to retire, only to realize you can't afford to stay? Number 8. Nebraska. The Cornhusker state may boast a low unemployment rate and agricultural pride, but it's a punishing place for those living on fixed retirement income. Nebraska taxes nearly all forms of retirement income, including pensions and IRA withdrawals, with very few exemptions. Effective tax burdens can consume 5 to 7% of annual retiree income. But the real gut punch comes from property taxes. Nebraska ranks among the highest in the nation, with average rates exceeding 1.5%. For retirees living in modest homes valued at $300,000, annual property taxes often exceed $4,500, a staggering sum when combined with rising insurance and healthcare costs. There's also growing pressure on the state to reform its tax code. Advocacy groups have pushed for exemptions for seniors, but so far, substantial changes remain stalled in the legislature. Meanwhile, retiree migration out of Nebraska has grown by over 20% since 2020. So why does a state with such wide open spaces feel so economically cramped for its elderly population? Number 7. Minnesota. Don't let the lakes and friendly culture fool you. Minnesota's progressive tax system can be a nightmare for seniors. The state imposes income taxes of up to 9.85% on retirement earnings above certain thresholds, including pension payouts and IRA withdrawals. Even modest nest eggs are taxed at levels that make many seniors feel penalized for saving. Housing costs aren't helping either. Since 2015, property values in Minneapolis-St. Paul have jumped over 30%, while home insurance premiums have also risen sharply due to increased storm risks and inflation. Monthly healthcare premiums have increased by 20% or more, cutting even deeper into retirees' pockets. For those living in metro areas, the combined tax and cost of living burden often reduces disposable income by 8 to 9%. Some seniors report delaying healthcare visits or skipping prescription refills just to keep up with tax and housing bills. With such harsh realities, one must ask, is Minnesota's quality of life just a myth for its aging residents? Number 6. Vermont. Vermont's quaint towns and beautiful mountain vistas hide a harsh financial truth for retirees. The state's progressive income tax system taxes retirement income, including pensions and 401ks, at rates reaching up to 8.75%. And while there are some modest breaks for lower-income seniors, the middle class gets squeezed the hardest. The cost of living in Vermont has ballooned in recent years. From rising utility bills to ever-increasing property taxes, the state has become increasingly unaffordable. In fact, retirees in rural counties report spending over 85% of their fixed income just covering basic needs. Add in Vermont's relatively high energy costs, among the top 10 in the nation, and you have a situation where retirees are forced to choose between heating their homes and affording healthcare. It's a lose-lose proposition. Why are retirees paying such a high price for peace and quiet? Number 5. Massachusetts. Massachusetts may be home to some of the best hospitals and universities, but that prestige comes at a steep cost, especially for retirees. Pension and IRA distributions are heavily taxed, with limited exemptions. Effective rates on retirement income can easily climb to 6 to 7% depending on income level and location. Housing prices have spiraled. In the Boston metro area, median home prices now top $700,000, while rents have grown by over 25% since 2015. For retirees who planned modestly, staying in Massachusetts is no longer financially feasible. Healthcare is another major pressure point. Despite access to world-class medical care, retirees are paying among the highest premiums in the nation. A 2025 Consumer Gravity report shows retirees in Massachusetts need roughly 30% more income than their Social Security benefits to live comfortably. How long can seniors in the Bay State hold out before they're forced to flee? Number 4. Connecticut. Connecticut might look like upscale New England comfort on the surface, but retirees here are getting financially strangled. The state taxes nearly all pension and retirement income, even for those who barely scrape by. Yes, there are exemptions, but they vanish fast once you cross $75,000 in annual income. What does that mean in reality? That a retired firefighter with a modest pension could owe thousands in income taxes, just for existing. Property taxes, some of the highest in the country, averaging over 2% annually, which on a $400,000 home is $8,000 per year. Healthcare costs here are astronomical, with premiums rising nearly 12% between 2023 and 2025. Add utility rates that are 30% higher than the national average, and suddenly even a six-figure retirement account doesn't feel safe. Number 3. New Jersey. New Jersey, the Garden State, or the tax trap. While there's a partial exemption for some pension and IRA income, the thresholds are shrinking, and inflation hasn't kept up. Seniors just over the line are getting slammed with state income tax rates between 5.5 to 6.5%, especially those with dual pensions or modest investment returns. Property taxes, America's highest, by far. Average property tax bill in 2025, a staggering $9,800 per household. That means even with no mortgage, retirees are losing nearly $1,000 a month just in property tax. Pair that with some of the highest healthcare and prescription drug costs in the nation, and seniors are fleeing. In fact, New Jersey ranked number 2 for net retiree outmigration in 2024, just behind one other infamous state you'll meet shortly. If you're retired and still living in Jersey, the question is, how? Number 2. California. You knew this was coming. The so-called Golden State has become a golden prison for thousands of retirees. While Social Security is exempt, most other retirement income, IRAs, 401ks, pensions, is taxed like regular income. That means top earners face rates up to 13.3%, the highest in the nation. Housing is in a class of its own. In LA, the median home price is still hovering near $800,000, and even smaller towns like Fresno or Modesto saw double-digit % increases in rent post-2020. Property taxes are capped under Prop 13, but good luck if you're buying new, or if your heirs are stuck with reassessments. Let's not forget healthcare. California retirees pay some of the highest long-term care premiums and out-of-pocket Medicare supplement costs in the country. The result: thousands of aging Californians are skipping preventive care and falling into debt traps just to survive. Is California still paradise, or has it become a retirement purgatory? Number 1. Illinois. Topping the list, the most financially punishing state for retirees in 2025, is none other than Illinois. While technically it doesn't tax retirement income directly, don't be fooled. The real killer here is property taxes, and the unrelenting debt burden that's creeping into every service and cost of living line item. Illinois has the second highest property taxes in the country, with many retirees paying over 2.1% of their home's value annually. A $250,000 home. Expect a $5,250 annual bill, minimum. But that's just the start. Skyrocketing local fees, inflated energy costs, and municipal debt mean every utility bill and insurance premium is higher than it should be. Pensions for public workers are under threat. A 2025 report from the Illinois Policy Institute found that nearly 80% of new retiree pensions are underfunded, and looming reform proposals may slash payouts or increase taxes. For many seniors, it's a no-win scenario. Either flee the state, or sink deeper into a hole every year. Illinois might not tax your IRA, but it slowly bleeds you in every other way. And that's worse. Here's the truth. Retirement is no longer about freedom, it's about survival. These 10 states are proof that if you're not watching your tax exposure, healthcare costs, and housing situation, your golden years could become a nightmare. Thousands of Americans are already leaving. In 2024, over 360,000 retirees moved states, chasing affordable housing, tax relief, and peace of mind. The new hotspots: Florida, Tennessee, and Texas, states with zero income tax and far more senior-friendly policy. But this isn't just a personal story, it's a national trend. We're watching the beginning of a mass senior exodus. And if state governments don't act, their budgets will collapse along with their aging populations. So, is your state bleeding you dry? Or is it time to pack your bags and find a future you can actually afford?